Hey everybody, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. This is the Raszageth normal fight, a bit of a guide on how we did it. You want to lust on pull right away, because this is a long enough fight that you can lust again in the third phase. We laid out markers like this, the 3 on the bottom for puddles, the 2 just to show the groups going to the left and right, and then the polarity on the top for P2. You want to put the puddles in a Venn diagram kind of overlapping. We have a gap here in this one. It's not ideal. That's what these white circles are. If you slightly Venn diagram them like this, there won't be any gaps, and when the wind pushes you, there's no chance you'll get knocked off. You can see there's actually a gap here in this one. If somebody didn't position right, they could have been thrown right between those puddles and off the platform. If you Venn diagram them, like the left and right puddle, it's impossible to be thrown off. For this phase, there's 4 main things to worry about. These will drop little sparks, so you want to spread out to not be stacked on each other. Use an interrupt, a knockback, something. A stun, a purge will get rid of those. You need to drop the puddles for the winds, dodge the blue swirls. The boss will also do a frontal breath, which you need to dodge and not get hit by. It will kill you. So position in front of a puddle for the wind like this. Dodge those blue swirls. When the little blue circles come on your body, slightly spread out and then get rid of them. And this is the frontal breath you need to avoid as well. That's it for P1. In the intermission phase, you want groups 1 and 3 to go left, 2 and 4 to go right to these side platforms. You'll get thrown across by the boss, similar to this right here. And then you start on the ads, you work your way around the room. Once you break the shield off the big ad, it will spawn little ads. You need to cleave them all down while dodging Raszageth doing breaths across the platform. You can see her here. You can see the smoke signaling where she's going to put down the lightning. Don't get hit by that. It puts a nasty dot on you that might kill you. So you keep slow kiting around the room, cleave them down, and then once they get low, move on to the next one. When you finalize and kill all the ads, there's a little teleporter on the room. It's a little gold circle that you walk onto, and it will teleport you to, you can see it there in the top of the screen. It will teleport you to the next platform to start P2. You just need to kill all the ads, the 3 main ads on both platforms. If one group is way ahead of the other, they can teleport to platform for phase 2 and then come across and help you, and you all go back together. There's the teleporter that we're beside right now, killing this final ad. This is where you go across with the gold teleporter I was talking about to the second platform to start P2. You can see the X and the square marks. These are for your polarities. Negative on the left, positive on the right. Tornadoes are negative, the orbs are positive. This is the most important phase of this fight. You have to stack with people of the same charge, similar to Thaddeus. Right here, we're getting the charges. You spread out, immediately go to the spot you have. You can see I'm positive, so I go to square, negative went to X. The boss puts a massive shield and pulses raid damage. You need to DPS this shield down and heal through the raid damage. The faster you DPS the shield down, the quicker you get out of this without losing people due to unhealable raid damage. Just similar to that right there. You still have blue swirls to dodge during this phase. You also have the boss will do a wave pushback, which you just get close to the boss so that you don't get pushed off. Here it comes right here. If you're near the edge, that could push you off, so you just need to get close to the boss to avoid that. These charges right here will spread to other people if you have them inside your circle. So that's why we took them to the edges of the room. Everybody else stacked under the boss's feet, and then we just came back together. You also have the sparks, similar to P1 right here, that you need to just interrupt, stun, whatever, to get rid of. You rinse and repeat that during this phase. You'll get 3 of the polarities and the shields the boss does, as well as several times where he does this wave pushback, and here comes the second shield. It progressively gets harder if you don't have cooldowns, so you want to kind of stagger your cooldowns for each shield. If you have fast enough DPS, you can push the boss to second intermission without getting 3 shields, but we were never able to do that. We always got the 3 shields. And once the vault integrity reached 0, then the second intermission starts. When the boss flies up in the air like this is when the second intermission is about to begin. Raszageth will still breathe fire, or lightning rather, across the platform, similar to the first intermission. There's a big ad, which when it teleports spawns little ads that will heal the big ad if they reach it, so you have to kill them or knock them back, CC them, binding shot them, something to stop them from reaching that ad and healing it. Once the ad dies, you get knocked back onto the first platform to start P3. As you can see here, the boss is teleporting to where we just were, and it spawns the ads where it just was. I knocked them back to keep them away, and we cleave them down. There's still the blue swirls to dodge, like in every phase. Just make sure you're dodging them, and you burn down this ad. The boss will still continue. The boss also spawns these orbs you need to dodge, similar to Herja in Halls of Valor, which will hurt, and the boss will do the breath right here, just like it did in the first intermission. More ads will spawn every time the big ad teleports. Don't let them reach, and that's essentially it. You want to go back to the X marker when the ad dies to get knocked back to the original platform to start P3. After stacking on the X and getting knocked back to the main platform, this is where P3 will begin. Raszageth knocks you. A storm will start on the outside of the platform and slowly work its way inward. This is the hardened rage of this fight. Once it's completely covered in the storm, you're going to die. You lust as soon as it's available in this phase, and then it's similar to the first phases in the mechanics you have to deal with. You have the breath to dodge. You have the blue swirls to dodge. This breath right here is a tank buster that needs to be swapped. Tanks need to face it away from the raid. There's the swirls to dodge. The big charges that still go out on people that you need to take to the edges of the platform. Again, here's another breath. The tank swapped for it. You need to use a defensive for that. Here's the charges. You want to take them to the edge to not spread to somebody else. You can see the warrior stayed in my circle and it spread to him. Then the tank was also in the circle and it spread to him as well. Each circle gets progressively smaller. You want to avoid that happening though. You want to not get hit at all. The tanks need to mitigate the breath because it will spread raid damage across the entire raid. So if they mitigate, it just minimizes the damage. The boss still does the wave, so get close to the boss before that wave happens and then just rush the boss down. That's it. Dodge the swirls, dodge the breath. Don't let the wave push you back into the storm. Take the charges out. The next set of charges, since the storm is encroaching, you would have to have the people go out into the storm and potentially sacrifice themselves. Essentially, it's just a DPS race and sacrifice people if needed and collect your loot.